Good evening, televiewers. Can we, sorry for this technical issue, can we just take a short break and come back? We're sorry for that slight technical issue. Good evening once again, televiewers, and welcome to Prime R. This day we are going to be asking the question whether it is time for Cameroonians to come together as a family, seek justice, go for forgiveness, and then reconcile themselves amongst one another. But before we get into that topic, we are going to commence looking at the presidential decree that was signed this evening, harmonizing the retirement age in Cameroon for workers who fall within the category C and D, putting it at 55 years, and A and B at 60 years. We are going to be discussing this with our panelists who already are in the house. Apostle Ambi Valentine Goa is in the house with us. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, televiewers of my Media Prime and Prime R precisely. Good evening, my co-panelists. Good evening, Cameroonians. It's a privilege to be here again tonight to deliberate hard-burning issues that concern our nation, Cameroon, Africa, and the world at large. You're welcome. Thank you.
For Elvis Tayon, a person who is putting up multiple caps, I will not want to belabor them in this introduction. Just say welcome all the way from Boya.
Thanks very much. Greetings to Your Royal Majesty, the Fond of Gunoko Village. As usual, His Royal Majesty Dr. Fomiki Walters. And greetings to the Fond of Barakwe, His Royal Majesty Tegan Humphrey. And to the Fond of Mbemi Village, His Royal Majesty Mbabit. And the hosts of all others who are watching us from the Mbemi Central Subdivision and all over the world.
Fundu Ignatius is equally in the studio with us this evening. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo, and good evening to my co-panelists. I will start by congratulating my Media Prime for the awards you received this year. I wish to say that this is just the beginning. And this is the end of the year. It's a time we wish many people here and thanking God for keeping us proud this year. Okay. That's why I wish to greet one person who is very important, a teacher who taught me in class 7, Mr. Abon Cletus. I don't know where he is today. Not forgetting His Royal Highness of Asham Village.
Okay. Also with us is Prince Joel Mukage. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Liu. Special good evening to my co-panelists, first of all. A good evening to everybody watching in Bamenda. Mr. Liu, I was in Bamenda, like you know very well, and I was taken aback. I was very surprised. Not that I was doubting the strength of my Media Prime and Prime R particularly, but what I saw, it really tells you that you're doing a marvelous job here. That's why I want to join my voice to those in the Northwest to congratulate you for the job you're doing, because even the governor and other top-ranking personalities in the Northwest were like, je connaissais monsieur, il est suivant à my Media Prime. So special good evening to everybody. Special good evening to those watching in Mr. J Subdivision, and to my uncle who is a member of House of Chiefs, His Excellency, Fon Thomas Kimbuse.
His Royal Majesty.
His Royal Majesty. Well, adding Excellency now, he's a member of the House of Chiefs.
Okay, we want to say special greetings to the fan club that is in Barombikang in Kumba. I received your message, and whatever you guys are planning, I am touched by that. Equally, special greetings to the fan club that is in Nyasoso. You have been asking that I come there. I will look for a day to come to Nyasoso, and those of you watching from across the globe, since you say Bamenda has a strong following,
A very strong one.
Kumbu and other places, I want to use this opportunity to express our condolences to Mr. Tachang Pius, who is the proprietor and director of the H company that is doing lots of work across Cameroon, and to the wife Tachang Mercy, who lost the mother was buried, I'm sure, yesterday or today. Our hearts are with you out there in Bamenda, as we know that as we speak, celebrations are going on. If time permits, we are going to witness what is happening out there in Bamenda in the course of this program. We want to start with you, Apostle Lambe, your first reaction to the decree by the President of the Republic harmonizing the retirement age.
Well, this song was sung some few months back, and finally it has been enacted. It remains not a mystery to some of us who understand the jungle politics in this country. People who are old are given the opportunity to stay more in power. Since we've been ruled by ancestors for time immemorial, we are not very surprised to see older persons are allowed to stay in office while younger ones are still roaming the streets jobless with very huge certificates and degrees in their pocket. They are adding that 60 years should be retirement age for some people, and while 55 should be for others. And I think that there are a lot of people roaming the streets of Cameroon who do not have anything doing, and they are keeping older persons. If somebody could not fulfill his life in government after working for 55 years, is it the last 5 years that he will make something out of his life? Some are giving two more years or 3 more years to do what? A man who has not been able to accomplish something at the age of 50 in government is a fool forever. Sorry to use that statement, but I think adding the years for those who are about to be retired makes no sense.
Okay, it makes no sense. Your first reaction for Elvis Tayon?
Well, you know, in a kangaroo system, all their decrees are kangaroo ones. And so the question we'll be asking is, if you decide to extend, we have 60, we have 55, of what benefit is it to the nation? If there's no benefit, there's a kangaroo decree and has no use. Thank you.
Oh, but what if your father or mother fell in that category?
For me, I repeat, it will not be news to me, because I should be asking my father to leave and go for a deserved rest and do some other things. Let other youths fill their shoes. It's very possible.
Yeah, but 5 years is enough for somebody to construct a house now.
No, Mr. Leo, what Apostle said is true. If at 50, 51, 52, you have not yet constructed the house, unless you want to steal money, unless you want to embezzle. And so for those who are 55, and or those who are 50, or those who are 55 and expect to retire at 60, if all those people are running positions that deal with budget, they will steal money, Mr. Leo, because they are working on injury time. They will embezzle. So more room for embezzlement has been opened for those who have the possibility to, and more room for those who are filling the blank spaces when young persons are roaming the street, some involved in banditry and unorthodox jobs, because their spaces have been occupied by our ancestors.
Okay, your reaction to it, Prince Rev?
Mr. Leo, I think that the decree has come to tell certain persons, I believe that's the first one, that this time around there is an entry age and there is an exit age, because we know that for you to enter maybe cycle 1 of say ENS or cycle 2, there is an age limit. Now it means that people already have an age limit that they must leave office. But the one fear I have about it is the fact that a majority of our Cameroonians got their certificates, birth certificates, maybe not legal. There are some who faked certificates in order to get into office. Now, extending somebody, for instance, who was 30 years already and need to back pedal and come to maybe be 15 years, that person is going to be working till 60 years and will be very unproductive. At one time, I saw a treasurer in an area, in a council, whose name I will not call. The power was very old, could not. I doubt if he could even sign his own signature. The age, I want to believe that the age is a bit too mature. 60 years is too big, like Reverend said. It's too big an age, because if you say that people should work and retire at 60, I doubt the productivity of somebody who is 60 years. It will be very, very difficult for somebody who is 60 years to actually deliver, because let us be honest, Mr. Leo, at times around 45, 50, you're already tired. There are things you cannot do again. But now, you have people who stay in the office, maintain their same positions, but they need to work till 60 years. How efficient will they be? It means that they're going to have the same salaries, the same advantages, but for a longer period. I just feel that the age is somehow too lengthy. They would have reduced it.
Okay, they should reduce it. How does this benefit the Cameroonian population? Oh, it goes only to at least benefit the families, because once you are extended, your salary is maintained.
Yes, I wish to comment on the side of the individuals. I want to reflect my memories behind when Cameroon suffered from economic crisis. You see, people who suffered that time, this decision may favor them a bit. Especially, there was a time that primary school teachers received 60,000 francs. This it might be some sort of compensation. Then, on the negative side, I wish to propose that somebody who has failed for 55 years and then you extend 5 years is very dangerous, because he was already feeling himself embarrassed. And then you add 5 years, he's going to do everything at least to keep something that the family will know that he worked in the government. Furthermore, I know that the president of Cameroon has always been taking good decisions, but the problem is this decree, we expect it to be respected, because we know that in Cameroon, when he takes a decision like this, there are people who will respect it, who will go out, they will go on retirement at 60, but there are people who have connections, who will not, who will extend even the 60. I quite remember, I know that Cameroon has good laws. I quite remember the late Charles Ateba Ayene has been invited, once he invited in China, when they wanted to revise their constitution, because they thought, they saw Cameroon like a country that has good laws. So that's one thing, but it's we the Cameroonians, we have the feeling that we have good laws, but sometimes the laws are not respected, because maybe it's connections with those who are in high posts. That's the only thing. This is the new year. I expect that the decisions should be respected.
Okay. Many persons were quick to ask what the use of our parliament is. We know that a session just ended in Yaoundé, and nothing in that light was said. It's a presidential decree that decides. Are we not also asking the question as to what the use of our National Assembly is, and knowing that a budget was already voted for next year, and those that inside that budget was considering that this number of persons were going on retirement. So how do you get extra money for those who are going to be maintained?
Asking the function of the parliament in Cameroon should be done by Ghanaians, Tanzanians, Kenyans, and Mauritanians, not Cameroonians. We have grown in this nation. I understand that we have a parliament where people go there for formalities and discuss on how to feed and drink. They don't discuss laws of the country. We are ruled by a presidentialist system of government where the parliament is just a structure with a group of individuals that are there to complete the constitution. That is a parliament, and a senate also is there as a structure with a group of individuals who have practically nothing to do for the total transformation of the nation. If a parliament can be held few weeks or days after, and then nothing like such was discussed in the parliament, the president suddenly from nowhere gives a presidential decree on how to harmonize the working condition of workers. It tells you the role of the parliament in the country. And a parliament is very effective when there are a lot of oppositions in the parliament. You don't expect parliament of 80 seats, and then the ruling party has 140 seats. The rest of the person are just hand clappers who are there to make sure the fan aglow the decision of the ruling party, who in their own position, in their numbers, have no decision but to take strictly instructions and firm one from the head of state. So if you say the parliament was held, I think we know what is parliament in Cameroon, and those people who are supposed to ask such questions are supposed to be Tanzanians who are coming in for the very first time, Kenyans, Mauritanians, and Nigerians, not Cameroonians, should be asking the question for the function of the parliament in the country.
Okay, we are going to look at the topic for today, which has to do with a crisis in Cameroon. Time to rethink and talk justice, forgiveness, and reconciliation. The country is at crossroads as we speak, at almost all the levels now.
Well, the main issue we have to understand is that the topic is timely. Thinking or rethinking and talking justice, or talk about justice, forgiveness, and reconciliation, it's very timely. But there is a mechanism that is supposed to make that work.
Okay.
I have told many political pundits that if anybody sits and decides that the forgiveness, the justice, and all that will be done without the government machinery accompanying you, it will be a waste of time. The only thing that could be there is the aspect of forgiveness, which we can take from what we find in the Holy Scripture or in the Quran, and we apply. For that, forgiveness can go, reconciliation can go. But we're talking about justice. That particular parameter of justice can only be given when the government machinery is put in place and willing to put in place the right things to punish those who have caused sufferings onto others.
Yeah, but the question is it the time for that? Is it time for justice?
Mr. Leo, the time is even overdue. Yeah. And now while the time is even overdue, the main thing is, do we see the kangaroo system in Yaoundé willing to see that come to fruition? No. Why do we say no? Because they continue to do wrong things at all times. Yaoundé, listen very well. You continue to do wrong things at all times. When I told them that this putting in place of a kangaroo regional council has no use, they went ahead. Now they are talking about the appointment of independent public independent conciliator. And so you see, the moves continue to be counterproductive because they are groups of stubborn people who are not willing to do the right thing. And so at the end of it, we would say the time is even overdue. But why is it overdue? Can we influence the things to happen? We have only forgiveness and reconciliation that we can have an impact on it. But for the aspect of justice, the mechanism put in place by Yaoundé regime is that which justice is still far from their agenda. Meaning that to them, we still need to use what we call iron fist to make sure that people succumb to the justice system whether they like it or not. And that is where Yaoundé has failed and failed woefully. Time is now, but the Yaoundé regime thinks that we'll be talking about justice, forgiveness, and reconciliation maybe at 2035 as they talk about emergence, which is still another failed slogan put in place by Yaoundé regime.
Yeah, well, while we talk about rethinking, I want us to look at the different aspects in our national life that needs rethinking. We look at the political issues since the birth of multipartyism in Cameroon. You saw what the SDF went through and a host of other political parties. We've seen recently what is happening with the CRM and other political factions in Cameroon still running. Do you think that there is need to rethink the political process in Cameroon?
Mr. Liu, like my brother Five, said that the topic is very timely. We are on the 30th, I'm sure. 30th, it means we are few hours to the 31st and few hours, or less than 24 hours, or say 24 hours to a new year. And every year before the year ends, there is always this, what we call a resolution. Each individual sits down and say, okay, Prince, you used to do this, don't do them again. I feel that politically speaking in Cameroon, Mr. Liu, the reason why some persons have not yet joined politics, like some of us, like say have an official political party, is the fact that we are still to feel the impact of politics in Cameroon. Politics in Cameroon, from my own perspective, is more of personal interest. That is why I have people who are prostitutes. Somebody's in a party today, the next day is not there, and the next day is not there. Because the example you brought, look at the Social Democratic Front that came up in the 90s. It came up with a lot of steam. Cameroonians identified with the party. I want to remember that when Nijon used to shout, "Power to the people," who is the power? The people shout, "We is the power." Because even the people felt that they felt that they should not say "we are," that they should use the same verb "is." And people used to say "we is the power," because the people identified with the chairman, and you needed to see the crowd that he pulled. Same case when Maurice Kamto came, the CRM political party. Cameroonians said, okay, if the Social Democratic Front does no longer have the strength, and maybe somebody has come that can act as a messiah, and even comes with a name Renaissance, because Renaissance means rebirth. Now, people felt that, okay. Now, but progressively, you're seeing that even the fact that some militants are not like already quitting the party, it means that even the steam, it's not. And I think that it's time we gave politics in Cameroon a thought.
But then the narrative you are giving is also very logical. But my question is, when you look at the way even the ruling party or other people look at the opposition, is that how it is perceived from without the country? We see that at times when there is an issue that has a national interest, almost everybody is working towards the same direction. But seemingly in Cameroon, politics is like kill and take the head.
So in Cameroon, I want to believe that in the 90s, when the Social Democratic Front came up, there are some of our parents told us a story that if they said you were with the Social Democratic Front, you don't greet somebody of the CPDM. It was some kind of enmity, and people did not interact. It means they saw you as a. It's the same case today, and even when it comes to favoritism, so far as appointments are concerned, they will not want to give you an appointment if you're not maybe part of this party or part of this party. A very simple example, Mr. Liu. You talked about the fact that they should come together. Look at when the COVID-19 came up. While the CPDM, under the chairman of the party, President Paul Biya, brought an idea on how people should
creating a national solidarity fund, collectively
assist. The CRM came up with Survive Cameroon. So it means that each person wants to let it be that I did this.
Honorable Nuran Fosten of PCRN was also on her part doing her things, yeah?
Sure. So I just feel that, Mr. Liu, if politically speaking in Cameroon, from my own reading of politics in Cameroon, there is one thing I've come to understand, that when you go into politics, it is for political gains. I've seen people who have openly, on the 20th of May, removed dresses of a political party and worn that of another political party.
To go collect money?
No, not even to go collect money. Because they've told you that, okay, you used to be Kumlin, director of our media prime. If you want to go this way, then you need to publicly say you have been with us. I don't want to call the name of a political party. So that is how it is done. And for you to even get favors. Look, take a very simple example of what Five said. The Public Independent Conciliator. At the end of the day, they need two. It's a very big office. Now, one in the south, there's a president. One in the south, one in the northwest. And it is very simple. They say it is the president who decides. It means that, Mr. Liam, which means that
the process is initiated by the representative of the
head of state, who is the governor.
Who is the governor in collaboration
with the regional president, who is a CPDM militant.
Yeah.
Because the two presidents are CPDM, we should be very honest.
They will submit three names to
the president selects one. It means that at the end of the day, the northwest and the southwest, the governor is honesty. It will be very difficult, if not impossible, to say there is a governor who is not a CPDM. It's a CPDM militant. Very clear, because there is no school where you go to study and come out as a governor.
Okay.
And I was saying that, Mr. Liu, I just believe that at the end of the day, because of favors, okay, it will be difficult for people to come together and reason as one Cameroon.
Okay, the spirit behind the caption of today is whether it is time to rethink the way we do politics. Politics, the fact that you belong to a different political party should not portray you as an enemy to the rival political party. MRC should not see Barrister Achu Julius, who is as an enemy now. Life continues after the arguments. But now, the controversy over the electoral code, isn't it time also, from time immemorial, opposition parties have said, fix this. We need something consensus. consensual. Isn't it time also for a rethink of this aspect of the electoral code that is dividing Cameroonians, that is giving a lot of voters apathy, for all the political parties to come and give a way forward for it?
Yes, you rightly said it is time to rethink about the electoral code. Even there are people from the ruling party who make comments about the electoral code. But I want to see that there is something wrong from behind. Just like Joel said, the opposition in Cameroon is in total confusion, because if they were understanding themselves, they could have put ways of giving pressure to the government to at least revive. But the government is observing and seeing that the opposition is divided. Where are they divided? One of the points where I see the opposition divided is because of self-interest, just like Prince said from there. You see, there are situations where in a country like Cameroon, where there are so many political parties, at a given time, there must be one of the political parties that is like the flag bearer of all the opposition. Like as they were yesterday, like CRM tried to come to revamp. Yes, you see, but you see, sometimes you go again into the opposition. There are opposition parties who are opposing other opposition parties. We mean that one of the political parties that works hard and become like a second political party in the country. The others begin to see that political party with some jealousy. They think that it is already eating the government's money, and then they are there to make noise. So that thinking is something which I don't see it.
What we are saying is real, but I want us to look at the need for the political force, government and the opposition, to, I don't know, forget about their differences and see the need to fix what others are complaining about the electoral code.
Are you talking concern about the electoral code or political parties?
Electoral code is very divisive of Cameroon.
Yes, Mr. Leo, the challenge we have in Cameroon, unlike many other African countries, is that everybody is a messiah. I once said something, and it was written on Facebook, that we don't practice politics in Cameroon, but hate speech, blackmail, bigotry, as well as bitterness against each other. We don't have rivals, we have but enemies. Enmity has to do with having bitterness against individuals, but rivalry has to do with clear conscience, but I want to beat you in class. That's rivalry. So what we have in Cameroon is not rivalry, it's enmity. And once enmity is created, we cannot work together. If you go to Ghana during the COVID-19, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo faced COVID-19, NDC and MPP, all parliamentarians put their hands behind him because it was a patriotic challenge, not a political party challenge. Unlike the case in Cameroon, it's something different. We should go out of political parties and enter into patriotism. Recently, Museveni Kaguta is in Rwanda, is going for elections in Uganda, and he said he wants to do a political integration to the extent whereby he is going to be appointing members of other political parties because of their competence for the well-being of the nation, not because of political party differences. And we have that challenge in Cameroon whereby if you don't belong to a political party, no matter how competent you are not given the opportunity to offer your skill and your services. That's the reason why you can have a CPDM mayor cannot write his name, but you have an MROC member who has the skill to carry that council to another level. That's the challenge we have in Cameroon. So the earlier we get out of bitterness, get out of anger, bigotry, as well as blackmailing, and enter into genuine politics, we're going to have rivals and not enemy. We're not going to see any good in Cameroon. A clear case is what we are going to see right now. John Pombe Magufuli has come into power. It will shock you that in the parliament of Tanzania, even the opposition party is given the opportunity for him to be given the 10 term, because why? He has brought the nation into a middle income economy, which means everybody in the nation is working for the well-being of the nation, keeping their political differences aside until we get out of this party manship. We get out of this political party mentality. We can never work as patriots to develop a nation. That's the reason why some of us have decided to back out of political party, because we are looking at the interest of the nation, not the interest of a political party. That point must be ironed and properly treated. If not, so Cameroon will never go anywhere. That's the truth. It is difficult to see another opposition party give kudos to a president who is doing well in a particular area. It's difficult. Why? Because everybody wants to project himself and tarnish the image of another person. No, that's very, very wrong. And I think if a nation does not come to this place, recently Donald Trump had COVID-19, And I saw Joe Biden, even though they were still going to contest for election, send messages to him and say, please get well soon. I'm not praying for you to die. But in Cameroon, here, if a political party member is sick during the election period, the other will enter 21 days fast for the president to die because we don't have any contestant. That is witchcraft. It's not politics anymore. I think we should get out of that.
Okay,
that cocoon.
is it time also Cameroon is faced this year? We have seen many instances across the nation with growing tendencies, tribalism tendencies, tension amongst regions and tribes. Is it time to rethink our living together and see need to hold hands and move on?
I think that is a very good question. Anything that is bad, it is time to wipe it out. Very correct. But you see, Mr. Leo, we should be looking at where the evil is being generated. Mm-hmm. Like you see what Apostle Ambe just said, citing Ghana and other. Like if you look at their governance system and the way they legalize political parties, it's not the way in which Cameroon legalizes overnight and at random. Now it begins to tell you that the governance machinery has a bigger role to play. If not, our individual roles will at a point in time become invisible. Mm-hmm. Because when you put an effort which cannot be complemented by government's effort, the effort has very little effect. I repeat, if you put an effort, if me, you, all of us on this platform put an effort, when the state machinery does not recognize that effort, our efforts will be working with very minimal consideration. And that's why I said that all what we are saying here, we are harvesting the hatred and all the things, is a foundation built by the regime. It's a short thing. If not, why will we have COVID-19 in Ghana? At the point in time, all the political parties unite to fight COVID-19 until the president is giving up his salary and some other ministers asking some other ministers to also give him part of the salary to combat COVID-19. You cannot have that kind of scenario in Cameroon. So we are putting a situation whereby the foundation has been mortgaged to the devil by the regime in place. Mr. Leo, without fear or favor, any day Yaoundé quits power now and a new regime takes over, these stories of hatred and all the like will be history. It will be automatic. Because in the first place, we hadn't the problem of living together. It was these hoodlums politicians who brought in this syndrome of talking about Vivo and Sabra as if we're not living together. If you go to Jum, you have so many people from the Northwest region who have plantations over there in Jum in the south. And they have been there, born and bred over there. Bamoons are there in Sangwalema. And vice versa. So at the end of it, politicians now are making the game because the government has been using the policy of divide and rule. That is the Machiavellian system Yaoundé regime is using alongside with their CPDM cohorts. And they know what I'm talking about. So because of that, Mr. Leo, while we are saying this is the time, we will only be talking. We have carried out fasting. Churches have carried out community services. Ask yourself, Mr. Leo, why is it that with all the numerous community services, there's no one coming up again? I think Muslim combined with Christians or whatever coming up.
On the second.
On the second, or yes, I think so.
On the second.
Coming up. Ask yourself, a community service has been going on. But what is the impact of the community services in relation to? You can see that when a regime is founded on demonic practices, it needs to take another season of fasting of the millennium. But if it's just normal prayers, as we keep on saying, we will be singing a song, and the Lucifers in charge will only be smiling because they think that we are making a child's play. But they forget that God's time is coming, as God is giving them enough rope to draw. So at the end of it, while we are talking about the time has come to preach, to get bygones, hatred, and all the like, as I said earlier, the foundation. Look, for example, if you go to the Social Democratic Front Party, that is an SDF party, for example. But before that, what we had some saints within government circles, the party that was Anglophone. Mm-hmm. Now, when CRM came over, what was the issue? The party de Bamileke. You see, all these words are carefully joined. Why? Because in a kangaroo and dictatorial French-oriented system, they have that mechanism whereby the moment they tear people apart, even within your family, they cannot have all it takes to stay in power without anybody tackling them. And that's the system why, that's the reason why I see that for Cameroon, the case of Cameroon, it is very difficult for Cameroon to have a concerted effort. But as I said, the day, I repeat, the day we have a regime change, the issues of hate speech will disappear because there is a law on hate speech. How does a chief brings about hate speech and a prime minister comes, smiles over, talks on it in a calm tone, and say, please, people should shut hate speech. The position of the state is unity and all the like. And it ends there. But the law tells you that person is supposed to go in for imprisonment and fine them. Till today, the person is out. So you can realize that at the end of it, government is sponsoring all these ills that we are saying here. directly or indirectly. I will say that without fear or favor. Thank you.
I don't know how government is telling you to hit me, eh?
If they don't take action, Mr. Lowe, it means they're sponsoring it. If not, let them take action so that their hands are clean and they are for the law, for the implementation of the law.
Government cannot be everywhere to see you now, my brother. Me and you are here now.
So government did not know that there was hate speech repeated several times by government officials. I should tell them.
Yeah.
All right, I'll tell them.
Are you saying that the church and the schools did not also do their job in informing these people?
Mr. Yo,
almost everybody is a Christian, and in the church they preach love now.
I still repeat the story, Mr. Leo. When a government machinery does not take into consideration these principles, if you work as an individual, as a citizen, you are effectively minimal.
About the church and civil society organizations.
Mr. Leo, I'm still repeating. This is political science. This is public administration. The moment a government policy does not take into consideration these issues, even if you come as a group, because the fact that somebody will go against this and the issue will be waved apart, it gives more room for other hoodlums to sit on and take the same temperature. That's why I said the state has prerogative. The moment I abuse you, Mr. Leo, you are a calm no-go, and the state does not bring me to order. Yet there's a law that I should not call you calm no-go. It means that the state at a point in time is supporting me to tell you come no go.
Why did you not raise the same issue when people were called was it Tontina and the rest?
We have raised the issue several times, Mr. Liu.
No, but you people called.
We have raised the issue several times.
No, but you people call people with CPDM that they.
No, for that one, Mr. Liu, excuse me. There are two things we are getting here wrong. If you sit and Apostle Ambe has not done anything wrong. Because we are talking about this under normal conditions.
What have Sardinas done to you people?
Mr. Leo, what about sardina? It's a term you have to understand. I'm sure you understand what the meaning of sardina. That anybody who eats bread and sardine in line with the government to sell his conscience and other things means it's a sardina. It's not an abuse as we say. It is an appellation that accrues correctly.
An innocent
person. But you cannot
say.
see Apostle Ambe or see Prince Joel. I is just moving him. I call him a sardina. It's abnormal because he's not a sardina. The titles accrue to those who are guilty of that particular term.
Since we are talking about justice and lots of things, we talk about tribalism, corruption, and a host of others. The justice system in Cameroon, have they failed us?
To a greater extent, yes, Mr. Liu. The justice system in Cameroon is that which, given that first of all, the president himself is all over in all aspects. And even those who roll in the courts, many a time don't roll with their hands free. They have to take calls from certain angles before they determine the kind of sanction that you should be given. I think that the justice system in Cameroon is not that which is laudable. If lawyers can be sent to prison, if persons who we feel that should be protected, because the essence of justice in a country is to ensure that every person's right is respected. But if we have a system where very top personalities, for instance, you have parliamentarians who have immunity, it means that when you are a parliamentarian, there is this protection, this extra protection you have. But we know about parliamentarians who left the country overnight. A glaring example is Honorable Wiba Joseph, and they find it difficult to come back. So I think that the justice system in Cameroon, Mr. Leo, has not been a very good one. It has failed Cameroonians because Cameroonians, many a time you even take somebody to the nearest police station, and the objective is that you want justice to be rendered. But at the end of the day, if you get there and you cannot maybe pay well,
there are laws in the country which are not regularly respected by many persons, and then it creates frustrations in the minds of many persons who consider that
as injustice.
Yes,
that's why
the justice department in
that's why I'm saying that, Mr. Leo. Generally speaking, you know, one thing I like about Cameroon is our very good laws, because every article, everything, every action you do legally, there is a sanction. But the issue now is the applicability becomes a problem. A problem because I will not understand, very simple, Mr. Leo, that you take somebody, okay, you take somebody to the nearest police station because you have something, and at the end of the day, the justice you sought is not given. The problem now is no longer the laws which make up the justice. It is rather now the people who apply it. And many a time these things come up because we have people who entered when we were in secondary school, I used to have one of my secondary school, Madame Zimaram. She used to call most administrators in Cameroon half-baked. Not all, but it is because you have people who have been given positions because of their political affiliations, because of the fact that they know somebody up there. And at times when you go with something there, at the end of the day, you will always cry foul because you've been treated unjustly.
Okay, you have been treated unjustly. Is this situation prevailing also because the executive arm has a very great role on how the justice system works in Cameroon?
Yes, they have a great role. I would like to say that the failure has come instead from the regime, because there are cases where, you know, justice system. I want to testify that we have many cases where the law is applied in the correct way, but there are places where justice is not applied. The law is not applied. Why? It is because sometimes the regime has put things in a way that even we, the Cameroonians, we have become used to it. And when somebody has a connection, especially with the ruling party, when he offends, he commits an offense, sometimes they don't take it serious. That's why you see the citizens have become used to it. I've seen a case where around 2002, where somebody seized the council land and was constructing a hotel. When the mayor and the other people came, they raised the issue and took him to court and said, "What are you doing like this?" He told them that it is government land and constructing a hotel for government people to come and stay there. He went far and took boys from another tribe, gave them guns, and they were standing there while the bricklayers were working. But the case was in the court. But I'm saying this is because today the hotel is there and it belonged to him. So I believe that the government used a method which they are succeeding with the method. Because I want to see that the regime today is like what this Cameroonian artist mathematics said, that mon devant est derrière est bloqué et soudé. The regime today is succeeding because of the type of justice they practice. They protect themselves. There's nothing that can take that can shake them from there. See, you see, I want to continue to say that there are offenses that are committed because that person is offending maybe an opposition. They stay quiet because it's not an opposition. But when you're there with the ruling party, that is where they will open the law book and apply it on you, and you will suffer the consequences. So the failure, I want to see that the failure has come from the regime. But if this new year, as we said, if they should begin it from them. Even we, the Cameroonians, should be ready to change our minds and the way of seeing things. There is something I saw on Facebook. The regional president of SDF and I think it was Nunche, and the divisional chairman of SDF, the central region, went to visit Professor Maurice Campbell. And then it was posted on Facebook, and the person who posted it, if you see the way he posted it, because he saw it not normal. Recently, what I'm trying to say that the way our government has handled it has made us to become used to. So we saw it not normal for somebody from another political party to go and visit the other, because according to all we know that when we are from the other group, things should not.
There's no politics. It is witchcraft, like Apostle. The men of God also are supposed to play a key role in calling Cameroonians to their consciences, because almost everything that we have been saying here, we are saying the government has not done well, Cameroonians have not done well, they are tribalistic and lots of others. But to call Cameroonians to order and direct them towards the right path, you people are supposed to also play a key role in that direction.
Yes, Mr. Lo, it's a collective responsibility as servants of God to talk to the conscience of Cameroonians, which I think we have been doing that. But the truth is, sometimes when you speak to the conscience of people, they can be convicted to change. But the laws on the land will not permit them to take certain actions, because the laws are stronger than people's consciences. I may want to do something the law does not permit me to do. I'm helpless, because the way law has been enacted in this country on many occasions scares even people who have things in their heart to say. People are being brutalized. Some people are being court-martialed as a result of trying to express their willful desire to see the nation change. And I think that people's consciences at this level has come to a place whereby they too also can take practical steps to change. If you hear the moderator is excellent, the PC moderator is calling for a peace march on the 2nd, it's because people's consciences have come to a position whereby they need peace everywhere. But the truth is, you may be surprised to realize that somebody calls such a march on that day, police people are being given authority or rights to block them from carrying out such activities. On many occasions, people have attempted to carry out peaceful marches in this country to express their consciences, but the law overrode their consciences and then subdue them from carrying out those activities. I think the law should give space for poor consciences to be expressed as far as their worries about the nation is concerned. Me, I don't think that people's consciences in Cameroon have not come to it, because what you have seen, what you've experienced, the tortures you've been through, and the deaths toll in this nation right now must have pricked the conscience of every Cameroonian, inclusive those who are in power. They see children dying every day, military are dying, people are dying, and you call these things for people. Even if you are not alive, you see human blood spilled on the floor, your conscience will touch you. And I think Cameroonians, their consciences are being touched. But you see, many people have good things to do, but they are afraid that the law may pounce on them and don't give them the opportunity to carry out such things. One of the things I've also emphasized in this country is that our political parties are not helping us.
Okay.
I followed the elections recently in Burkina Faso, where Roch Christian Kabore won the elections with 57.87%. He had two opponents, Zelfin Dabre, who had 15%, and Edi Komoino, who had 25%. These two guys were willing to merge together if they had a percentage that could remove the president in power. But I can tell you there's a superiority mentality that once a political party calls for others to form a coalition, one believes that people have to take orders from him. Why can Maurice Kamto, or why should Maurice Kamto not submit to Kawala, or Kawala submit to Frundi, or Frundi submit to Jaja Ikindi, for them to come under a common coalition to make sure the government in position goes down? It doesn't work that way. It is just me, I, myself. And with this mentality of me, I, myself, there is no way we can ever advance in life. I think that if we are entering the new year, we're supposed to take a retrospect. And considering the Anglophone crisis, I've taken my analysis on different crises that have taken place in the country, in the world. The Vietnam War against America that started from 1954 to 1975. The U.S. Secretary of State for Defense, Robert McNamara, said to the president that the Vietnam War is nothing to be bothered about. After they went to that war in 1966, he sent a secret memo to the president that there's no way America can win that war. But America fought again for 9 years. I'm bringing something right now, because we are telling people that they should stop this war. Maybe government believes that based on what they have on ground, they can still fight for long and win. I want to give analysis for about 5 different wars that people have been sophisticatedly equipped, yet they lost the war. America fought for 9 years again in Vietnam and lose. Vietnam lost 2 million citizens, both military and civilians. America lost 58,156, but America surrendered. It's to tell that America was well equipped, lose less soldiers and lesser people died. Vietnam that lost many people finally won the war. I'm saying because sometimes you may think that because you are well equipped and you are killing more persons, the war will not last. You go to the Nigerian Civil War in 1967 under Ojukwu Dumegu. He was properly equipped with Philip Effiong. They seized government properties, ammunition, and seized soldiers. They fought against Gowon, against the state, for 3 years. What killed them? It says they blocked the supply of food. It was an economic embargo that paralyzed the Biafra, not gone. The more the war is prolonging, the more casualties take place. You go to the FARC rebels, for 17 years they fought, they ended up coming on a table of agreement. That's to tell you that the more the war prolongs, we lose more people, we will end up coming on a place of agreement. I think this thing called war in Cameroon, we have to, like we said, it's time to rethink, talk justice, forgiveness, and reconciliation. Let us know that even if this war prolongs, it will not go anywhere. We'll come back on the table.
Yeah.
the Sri Lanka War, the Tamil Tigers were a group of rebels that rose against Sri Lanka government. From 1983 to 2009, 26 years war. At the end of the day, they ended on the table.
As he came back to.
They came back on the table. So I think that rather than wasting more souls, both from the military and the civilian, what will come back on the table, it's time for reconciliation, it's time for forgiveness, it's time for justice.
It's time for justice. But talking about pricking the consciences of Cameroonians, you said most of them would want to do good things, but they're afraid of the law. You people should also talk to government now.
We have been talking.
Yes, you should prick the conscience of the government officials.
We are talking to the government, and that is what we are doing here. I must not be a servant of God on a pulpit. This is a platform through which I'm communicating to the government.
Yes, and they're watching.
They are watching, they are listening to me, and I've been doing this for the past years. And I think that if they are following, the government cannot pretend that they have not been listening to us. We are servants of God here. We are preaching the gospel in another form. We are communicating the mind of God on this platform. I must not be on a pulpit holding a microphone for I'm preaching. I'm preaching here reconciliation. I'm preaching justice. I'm preaching peace.
Is this the time to engage a conscientization campaign on the need for everybody to rethink the strategy? Like he raised, lives are going.
Yes,
are
going down.
Is this the time?
The time is even overdue.
Yeah, but overdue.
And being overdue means that is the time. It means that we are first of all even really late. And you know, just like what Apostle was saying, of the parties coming together, as I said earlier, I maintained a line of thinking. If you like, borrow opposition parties from Nigeria, Guatemala, Honduras, Australia, put together, you will not defeat CPDM in this country.
Are you answering my question?
I'm coming. Okay. It's an aside.
Okay.
It's an aside. I'm just talking because we're talking about coming together because if you look at an election whereby 9 candidates are there and a single candidate is taking about 71% or something, it means that if you are rallying all the other 8 candidates, it will be a sing-song matter. That one is that one.
When did you learn that? When did that come to the realization that it was not possible to win the CPDM?
Well, it came to my realization, obviously, when I walked through the electoral laws, especially when we talk about the municipal elections.
After the 2018 elections?
During the municipal and the council elections.
This one?
This one.
Okay, go on.
Good. So now, when you look at it critically, all the time I've been talking about coalition. Now, if you look at it, even the issues that we raised, before I come to your question, like the man of God raised concerning the conscientization of the people, you know, the main issue here is that few of them have been working. That one I accept. But as you see, most of the other church leaders, they think that you have to sleep in church and the solution just comes overnight. The most annoying part is that all these persons who are causing pain in Cameroon fellowship in those respective churches. I said the fellowship. So at the end of it, some of these men of God are more interested on what they take for harvest from these men than telling them that, Mr. Minister, but don't you think this thing you are doing is not correct? For fear that the minister must still come to church and things will not flow. That is where the issue is. And I said earlier, if men of God were the way they were supposed to work, anybody killed, be it a soldier, or anybody killed, be it a civilian, is a member of a particular church, some way, directly or indirectly. But unfortunately, I see them talking about peace march, peace march, peace march. It is a good thing, but it is not enough because these persons holding power are members of their various churches, and some of them have seal lips to confront them as it's supposed to be. Now, that one is that one. Coming back to the issue here, Mr. Leum, if we look at the issue whether it is timely, as I said, it is timely, but the main issue here is that we are late because we are supposed to have taken up with this. But they say it is better late than never. So, in a nutshell, if we look at what is currently transpiring on the ground, we realize that for the peace, preaching peace, reconciliation, justice, and whatever the case might be, it is very obvious that we are supposed to have a common stand. But I keep saying this, Mr. Leo, the master planner to end all these atrocities is the government. I repeat, if you like, take 9 days fasting. It will only be that God has to come in to influence in a miraculous manner. At the implementation of the modus operandi of public administration, it simply means that we are supposed to hold the government responsible. If today your own regime decides that hatred, whatever comes to an end, plus all this conflict, it will come to an end with the twinkle of an eye. Why do I say so? Because they know what to do. The government machineries are even more intelligent than some of us here. because they have specialized services. Eric is there, Enam is there, you have SJOs, have everything. They know what to do if they want this crisis to come to an end. It is true, I've been singing songs for over 4 years on media, proposing how the war should end. But at the end of it, they keep our proposals aside. These are the efforts we have been doing. Apostles have been working, all of us have been working on the platform. But now, you ask the question, what can we do or what can be done? The same talk we have been talking is yielding very minimal fruit. It means that for this thing to go on, one, either the government take the bull step to do. Okay. Because many things will be put in order. Yaoundé has nothing to offer. In fact, they are redundant. In fact, they have expired already.
Okay, ignoramos diasporanos. Good evening to you, watching us via social media. Chisap, good evening to you. Stella State, good evening to you. Fukeng Prince, good evening to you. Jack Shigo, good evening to all of you guys watching us via social media on Facebook. Many of you guys are there. Let me take 1-2 messages from those watching us from from their respective homes across the national territory and out. Mr. Liu, this regime has failed big time. Failure is failure. Nothing like half failure. Nothing good can come out from the regime. Those hoping have themselves to blame. A state of no justice. Yeah, okay. Clergy and state men preach justice, shout justice, cry justice, shame injustice. Then your desire peace shall know your path. Okay. Sama is writing from Victoria. Good evening to you, Sama. This one. Prince Williams writing from Baron Bikang. I say good evening to you. Good evening to you all. I think I agree with Apostle Ambe. Every person try to be me, and of them condemn Amber of fighting among themselves, even though CPDM will still cheat, no matter what. Cornelius writing from Mamfe. Good evening to you. Pastor Jasper Epie writing there from Germany says, Mr. Liu, good evening to you and the panel. Great topic. Cameroon needs a new political environment, and until this current system is eradicated and a referendum conducted for the way forward in Cameroon, the peace and reconciliation we are talking about will be an illusion. Judgment of God is coming soon on those who are ruling. Pastor Jasper, good evening to you. We're glad to note that you always around to contribute. Good evening, Mr. Liu and panelists. Those who keep criticizing the regime are responsible for the incompetence of the regime, because once they draw conclusions that the regime can do nothing, the regime comfortably do whatever, because we are not expecting whatever. Cameroon has bad-fitted citizens, and the change in regime is going to change nothing, because the bad citizens will consequently become tomorrow's regime. It has been time to rethink and talk justice, forgiveness, and reconciliation. Quine Bless is writing from Yaoundé. Thank you very much. Quine, good evening to you all in the studio. I must say you guys are doing a great job in order to help change things in the country, but just that those in power are not for the good of this nation. Leslo Azubu is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Leo and crew. 60 years is too much for the CDC labor to withstand. That's why after their pension, they don't live for the next 10 years. Again, the government should instead reduce 5 years behind on the above mentioned so that they can enjoy their pension for some time. Ningba Charles is writing from Tico. Good evening to you. Mr. Daniel from Boya says, good evening, Mr. Lian panelists. This topic is very interesting, but you first two speakers seem not to understand your question. It has been proven that at 50 years and above, most workers exhibit a sense of high skills. I would also like your panelists who condemn everything to come up with good proposals for a way forward. Good evening to you, Mr. Dan, writing from Yaoundé, and we will once again use this opportunity to say we are empathizing or sharing in the grief of Mr. Chang Pius, Tachang Pius, and the wife, Tachang Mercy, the director of a H company. We hear they're doing so much work in Bamenda to give a facelift to the town. So we heard that they were bereaved. Lost a mother who I'm sure was buried yesterday. We say Prime our shares in your grief, and may her soul rest in peace. Now, with you, do you also think that there is time for Cameroon to rethink this issue of wealth distribution? Because many persons say we talk so much about living together, but very little about eating together. We see that a group of persons get richer by the day. They live in complete affluence, while some people are walloping in misery, creating greater frustrations and bitterness, and the country keeps going apart.
Mr. Leo, that's the major problem in Cameroon. I think that if we don't have a problem of vivre ensemble, because that's a slogan that is often used by those who are in power. We don't have any problem with vivre ensemble. The problem is we are not eating together. Nous ne mangeons pas ensemble. Nous vivons ensemble.
You are chopping alone, and you say
they want us to live together, and it is very, very impossible. Because, Mr. Leo, there's something I was saying before now. I've been following events. Once Mr. Fa ever succeeds to enter Enam, comes out and becomes an administrator, there is a possibility that at least 2 of his family members will enter that school or enter another better school. It's very clear. That's the system we have in Cameroon. It means that we're living in a system in Cameroon whereby when you come from a poor home, it becomes very difficult, irrespective of how you struggle. I'm very sure that if people like Dr. Oni were around, they will say, no, Prince, that mindset is Cameroon mindset, an African mindset. But the system we have in Cameroon, Mr. Leo, it is such that very few persons who have struggled to enter power have made it such that 1, they decide who enters which school. 2, they decide who goes where so far as appointments are concerned. 3, they decide who is promoted. And somebody now comes from a very poor home and maybe has nothing to show for, ends up wallowing. It will be very difficult, Mr. Leo, to meet somebody who went to a school where the school fees was 1,500 francs in a primary school, while somebody's child used to go to a school for, say, 1 million, like the case in Douala, and that child struggles and goes to a secondary school where they pay 15,000 for school fees, and the child gets maybe up to university and gets a degree and doesn't get a job. Intellectually, that man is a hostile man. Irrespective of how you tell him vivons ensemble, it means that the anger inside of him, he has anger, not even maybe with the government, but with the entire country, and he becomes very aggressive. Such a person is very dangerous, even dangerous, more dangerous than somebody who is hungry.
That they don't have equal rights to certain privileges.
That's the issue, Mr. Leo. So if Cameroon was such that people go in for competitive exams, mindful of the fact that, okay, it is he who deserves that will get it.
If I did not get in, it means the other is better.
Correct, Mr. Leo. Then would have had no problem with our living together. If Cameroon did not have an issue of tribalism, where, for instance, when you're sharing the budget, there is a time we're discussing budget here, we discovered that the South region alone, where the head of state hails from, had more than the budget of Northwest and Southwest put together.
No, not the South region. One division.
One division, thank you. Yeah. It means I even gave them so much. One division in the South region gets a budget more than 2 regions. Now, how do you expect to go tell somebody who lives within those regions that, okay, your brother in the South is your brother? Now, it's just those aspects that start bringing division within the people. And if we're eating together, Mr. Leo, we'll not have this problem. I watched the regional elections, or rather the executive elections in the Northwest. The person who left the seat, who chaired the elections as the chairman of the day, is his son who took over the chair as the regional president. So it's an issue of the system. It becomes very difficult. In Cameroon, it's very normal. But at times when I see it, I have a young man who recently passed into Enam. And I told him, congratulations, we know where this is coming from. And Mr. In our country, we're living in such a country that, Mr. Leo, when somebody gets into a high-sounding school. I've discussed with a parliamentarian who told me, Prince, none of my children can go to ENS. It's for the poor. But to some of us, when you have a family member who enters ENS, it's a whole jubilation in the whole family. But the rich man will not send the children there. So, what we have in Cameroon, like you rightly put it, Mr. Leo, is an issue of the wealth is not being shared. A few persons have sat on everything and are making it very impossible for others to benefit. And as such, it has created this aspect of anger. We would not have had maybe the crisis that we have today in the Northwest and the Southwest if equal opportunities were given to everybody, if the post of the Prime Minister was maintained, that the Prime Minister after the President is a Prime Minister. He would not have come, because we look at these burning issues. We would not have had a crisis if the common law had its place and the civil law had its place. We would not have had this problem if teachers who have of English expression were given their positions just like French colleagues. But
equal opportunities for all.
In everything. We would not have had
how do we turn the situation around?
The way we should turn the situation around, we should not use post to compensate political efforts. We should not use post. And then there are two things that I see not going right. You notice that in a country that functions where the private sector is supposed to be richer than the government. I mean, the private sector is it should be attractive more than the public sector. But you notice that in Cameroon the reverse is true. That's why you see in Cameroon somebody will succeed to, please even talk of ENS, you will notice in Cameroon that somebody succeeds to enter into the government as a grade 1 teacher. You see the family organizing a ceremony to celebrate it. A grade 1 who receives around 120,000,
115,000.
Yes, we mean that they feel that he has become a rich man. But in which, in a normal country where the private sector is functioning in the right way it is supposed to be, that is not, people are supposed to be running away. Why am I saying? I'm saying that the government has something to do with the private sector. The private sector has taken citizens in Cameroon hostage. You see, the money of the country, the budget of the country is mostly in the hands of the private sector. But you notice that the people working in the private sector in Cameroon, they suffer more than those working in the government. That's why they admire even the post like being a primary grade 1 teacher who receives just around 120. They think that there's much money there. Secondly, Mr. Leo, our government should be able to I believe that all the areas in Cameroon are endowed with riches, especially like natural endowments. We have 10 regions, and we should not believe that regions that do not have access to the ocean or to the sea do not have right for companies. The government should make things in the way that people should be distracted from the government. Now, I'm trying to say that this is where I begin to borrow from Dr. Nick. The education system should be revised in a way that we should be thinking of making our regions valuable. We are from the Northwest region. So I want to put it this way. Mr. Liu, you have ever seen a tree that's growing on rocks and another tree of the same species is growing on a very fertile soil? You see that one growing on rocks. You see it adapt and bear fruit, which means that those regions we see as poor regions. There are certain things there that the government should make efforts to develop, use those things of the environment and develop the region. The far north is rich, the northwest is rich. I know that in northwest, the northwest is even feeding this country now, but they harvest from the farm and take direct to the market. That's
why are you only talking of the northwest? Why not talk about the west region?
I just quote the northwest as an example. Yes, even the north. I'm talking even the north because I believe that
it's true. Is that what you're talking about?
Don't consider it.
So it's because where you're coming from.
Yes, the west region also produces a lot of food now.
Yes. Why not far north? Onion is coming from the north. All the resources are rich.
So,
but yes.
Okay. You should love other people there. Also fight their battle. Don't always fight your own. Good evening to the panel. Good job you are doing there. It's Chantal from Pendamboku. The distribution of wealth is never a thing in this country. Take a look at CDC. Those who suffer in the farm are harvesters, tappers, and weeders. Are those wallowing in poverty. Their wages are very minimal, while those who sit in the offices get salaries they don't work for. Please, the top management should do something about this. Good evening, Mr. Leo, waiting from Douala. Okay, the government has the keys to the crisis in our country. If they are doing nothing, it means they don't care, especially to those who are suffering in the English regions. Okay. Orok Jr. says, good evening, sir. Please, this man is not fit for your program. Okay. Okay, Orok Jr. I get you. It's a worst case scenario. Never seen or heard a country. Cameroon is the most corrupted country in the world in all spheres of life. It's a curse. We need to pray, because what this so-called government is planning has no limit. To the best of my knowledge, the system is watertight. Okay. Good evening to you in the studio. It is really time for us to rethink and talk about justice, but forgiveness and reconciliation can only go to the completion of if the Anglophones are treated the right deserve. This country can never be whole again if the statement that Cameroon is one and indivisible stands. Hansi is writing from Mutengene. I am some Joseph from Boya. It's difficult living together. Others are living well while others are suffering. Okay. Hi, Mr. Leo. Men of God should tell politicians the truth to their face, as Mr. Elvis rightly said. Men of God should call a spade a spade. I think with this, the greedy politicians will change. Thanks. Eve is writing from Boya. Good evening, Mr. Leo. And all the panelists in the studio. You have the best panelists today in the studio. They are my favorites. Forward ever, backward never. Marie Claire writing from Kumba. Greetings to all the panelists. The government knows the problem and the solution, but adamant to change. In God we trust, and in Him we should depend. I'm Shalom. Nathan is writing from Muteng. And good evening, Mr. Leo. I enjoy your program. Why can't Yaoundé Cathedral organize a peaceful march? Okay. Well, this one says, when the respect of the law is transformed to fear of the law, anarchy results. Government has a hidden agenda to cause. Okay. Mr. Liu, hi, Mr. Liu. It's been many months that the sound system has not been the best. Please adjust and unify all your studio microphones. Ngandele is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening. Greetings, Mr. Liu. When the engine of a train is bad, change the coaches from today to tomorrow. It will never move. Alphonse Barry Damas, writing from Damas in Yaoundé. Okay. Good evening, panel speakers. You are looking one side of each on service. What degree appoints of the 70s and 80s? Evelyn is writing from Tico. Now, Apostle Ambe, isn't there a problem also with the leadership we have in Cameroon, from the mayors to the DOs to the governors to everything? And the presidency, the ministers, isn't there also an issue of the lack of what is called the servant leadership, the leadership that lives with the people? Consider the way our MPs, all of them live within their communities. Do they live as coming from these communities?
He that feeds you decides your actions. Mm-hmm. If our MPs and mayors were properly elected by the people, and actually they has a level of autonomy and a level of decision making ability, it would have been very easier for them to carry out their activities as politicians. To the best of my understanding, senators, parliamentarians, mayors are people who are supposed to be elected, and they are supposed to operate independently from the rules of engagement. But the truth is, the system has been fashioned in such a way that even mayors who are supposed to be elected, they are somehow appointed. Appointed in the sense that you might not even merit the seat, but because of the manipulation in the electoral system, you are being given the privilege to enter into the office. And because somebody played a very pivotal role for you to sit on that throne, the person has such authority to dethrone you at any time. By virtue of that, you are already on a disadvantaged side. You are standing with the fear that the person that put me here can kick me out. So it will be difficult for you to decide. Look, for instance, look at what happened recently with Paul Eric Kinge around the Njombe area concerning the quarry. Paul Eric Kinge, to a greater extent, was elected by those people. That's the most vocal mayor in the country, because he knows he has a certain level of autonomy and sovereignty when it comes to his responsibility. That's the reason why he could challenge the DO and challenge the authority. But the other mayors are just quiet because why? Somehow they are appointed into those offices and they cannot speak against the authorities that gave them the opportunity to serve there. Now, once an individual is satisfied with his family, the rest can go to hell. And this is the spirit that we have in the country. We lack the spirit of patriotism. We lack the spirit of national reconstruction. We lack the spirit of the nation at heart, but we have the spirit of the stomach at heart. Once somebody is able to feed himself and his family, the rest can disappear. In Cameroon today, everybody is fighting to occupy a post of responsibility so he will be a channel for his family. They are not working for the well-being of the nation. I heard somebody say that a particular division in the south, their budget is greater than 2 regions of the country. You need to travel to the place and find out the amount of money given to those people and find out the infrastructure that is there. You'll be amazed to realize that such amount of money is being apportioned to that particular division, but it is practically not development. I went to the south recently to minister the gospel there, and I asked myself if actually I was standing in the regional capital of the south region, where I seem to understand that most of the big guns and heavyweight engineers of the country are staying. It doesn't resemble the money that comes out from that environment. What is wrong? It tells you that the poor are wicked to the nation, right to their own very vicinity. I told somebody that if I say this statement, some Anglophones will get me misinterpreted. But the truth is, if we have to look in terms of infrastructural development, Boya, Limbe, Bamenda, Kumba are more beautiful than Ebolowa, which happens to be the regional capital of the South region. If I was to judge finances from that perspective, I would say we Anglophones were greedy. But I will not, because why? The money that circulates, even the people are not even good to themselves. Because you can't get proper roads, you don't have infrastructure, you can start and count the number of buildings that are upstairs in that environment. I went to the governor's office there. It was not something to write home about. It's to tell us that the little that even comes into the hand of people are self-centered in eating by themselves, and they are not interested in the well-being of the nation. I want to call the attention to every Cameroonian that as much as we are agitating as Anglophones that our regions are not properly developed, I must tell you that the little finances that have been given to some of our politicians, they have tried their best. But the issue is, until the mentality of Bel-Air consumption in this country is taken away for national reconstruction, you will not see any change. I think this thing begins with leadership. I'll go back to Tanzania. They had to organize their national day. Their national day was to cost 4 trillion Tanzanian shillings. For your information, 10 billion Kenyan shillings equivalent to 48 billion francs CFA, which means the gap in currency difference is very high with Cameroon. They were to spend 4 trillion Tanzanian shillings to do their own national day. The president said there is no national day celebration. We can't be organizing a national where there are hospitals without beds. There are roads untarred. He took that money and asked all Tanzanians to turn it into a Labor Day. He wore rain boots, went to the streets, took the money, started tarring. He has been in power for 5 years. He has not traveled out of East Africa. He went once to Kenya and Uganda because of the East African community. He has not gone to Europe. He has not gone to America. Why? Because he has the interest of the nation at heart. I'm coming to you, Mr. Lo, because this thing is very, very serious.
Very serious.
This man took that 4,000, went to a hospital, general hospital, and sacked all the staff and directors because why? There were beds in the hospital that were nowhere repaired. He took that money, repaired those beds, and brought all the patients on the bed. That's a man that has interest for the nation. I'm talking because he went, the capital was changed from Dar es Salaam, that became very commercial, to Dodoma. The roads were properly tarred. He refused to take first class flight. He entered economy class because of the cost of living. that I can tell you that we have ministers in this country whose children go to France for weekends.
For weekends.
When we don't have roads that go to the regional capital of the president's own region. Are you telling us that we don't have greedy, wicked, stone-hearted individuals in this country? The country lacks no resources. It lacks men with good heart, and it lacks patriots and nationalists. I think we have to start preaching a message to the conscience of Cameroonians who are sitting on billions where there is no electricity. You can practically do hunting in the streets of Ebolowa. I mean hunting, and you will catch rat moon. Why? Because individuals take money and sit on it. I think this blame game should stop. This blame game should stop, and we should start dealing with individuals who take finances in this country and sit on it. This nation is very rich. Now, you go back to Ghana. Oh, Jesus of Nazareth. This guy came to power, John Agbekunkwufo. The guy raised the Ghanaian dollar, the Ghanaian cedi. It came to equivalent to the US dollars. One Ghana cedi was equivalent to $1 US. In Cameroon, I have never seen dollar go down. It keeps increasing. Why? We don't manage resources in this country. Remember that the exchange of income has to do with the per capita income. And a lot of things are, which means what? We have the resources, we have a group of people with a very wicked heart who are not patriotic, and they are not interested in the growth of the country.
Okay, we hope they get interested so that they can develop the country. But who should initiate this justice, forgiveness, and reconciliation process?
As I said, this thing lies in the hands of one man who has decided to be the head of judiciary, the head of armed forces, the head of everything, the head of legislative, the head of executive. So, if you and I say want to initiate, it will be of no use. But if the man at the 2D decides, he can then probably give room now for competent people. I mean, competent people, not CPDM acolytes. Once this is done, you will begin to see the right things being done at the right time. But the moment that we have political compensation going on, because regional councils political compensation, I said earlier before the Senate came in, that Cameroon is not ripe for the senatorial position. People thought I was joking. Till now, some people don't even know what senators have already done. But their budget itself surpasses that of the National Assembly in terms of what they run. So at the end of it, you start asking yourself, were we even ripe for the Senate? No. So what can we do? The only thing we can do, there are two things. One, either the head of state himself restructure the entire governance system, putting in place what we call separation of power. Mr. Leo, there is no way justice can be given if the Minister of Justice does not get instruction from the head of state. But if we had a separation of power, whereby the Minister of Justice and Keeper of the Seal is the boss on his own, he will simply collaborate with the head of state and put up a reconciliation process and justice. By so doing, those who must have committed atrocities in one way or the other will be brought to book, and those who have suffered torture in one way or the other will see how the victims, or will see how the perpetrators of this act will be brought to justice, and their minds will be at peace. But the moment we don't see this, Mr. Leo, it will not go. Point number two, the only way forward, I got a listener who said we are not proposing. From what we say, the solution lies in what we have been saying. Unless he's not attentive. What we say, the solution lies in what we are saying. Point number two, the only way forward, since as it has been proven beyond reasonable doubt that this war will go on for 50 years with no solution, as our acolytes in Yaoundé are not willing to let go power. If they think that they love us, based on some of the examples that even Apostle has given, you see a president put on a boot and go to the field. Because our own people in Yaoundé cannot do that, please leave power. It will be an honorary job to hear that they are saying that they want a what we call even a transitional government to come and play where all them go on leave. We will gladly give them immunity and stop persecuting them for the sake of forging ahead, because that's their problem. If we give power now, these people will run after us for embezzlement. No, leave power in Yaoundé, all of you, go. We will not come after you. Just go to Singapore, go to Malabo and stay there. So that when we have a transitional government, we will begin to solve these things just like removing a jigger. I say this thing over and over. The moment Yaoundé leaves A2D, or A2D leaves Yaoundé rather, the moment A2D leaves Yaoundé, I mean the people manning this country, we will not be blowing this grammar. You will just see things moving because anybody knew, even if it's for the start, he must start something good before getting bad some other time. He will be good at least for the beginning. So we think that we are blowing this grammar here, and the guys are watching us and say we are blowing grammar. We will keep blowing the grammar. But when the time comes, don't say that we did not tell you that your time is up if you don't want to do things, because you cannot be wicked to the people you govern, for God's sake. Tractors are in a bolova, abandoned in the forest. That is state budget. Tractors given on contract, and they came in after agri show, abandoned. How do we explain this kind of scenario? It is a call for concern that people go on air as ministers, instead of serving the people, they are dictating. It's abnormal. I have never seen a country where a minister's have, but you speak with open eye, as I say, and you only impose. You don't know the people you are governing. You are supposed to serve them, talking with them, and that's why political accountability is absent in the governance process of Cameroon. Therefore, when we talk about governance, public administration, political accountability in Cameroon, the context is completely absent, because, after all, those in power know that they owe nobody an explanation except the only person who appointed them in the presidential decree. So why do we have a country with institutions? We have the Senate, we have the National Assembly. Decrees are coming every day from the presidency. It's abnormal. When the session just ended, the session of the National Assembly and the Senate, why could they not even propose these issues and say, all right, we are thinking that this thing should be done like that. How about the ages they examine? No. Therefore, it concurs with the fact that the Senate, the National Assembly, the regional councils are all kangaroo houses, because they have nothing to offer. If the head of state does not cough, they have no work to offer. Yet they are wasting state budget in an extraordinary manner that even God himself, I'm sure, is angry with them from heaven.
God is okay. Now, do we think that Cameroon has been grappling with many conflicts at different levels? Looking at it from the socio-political level, with the political tensions with the SDF, the CRM, and a host of others. Now we have issues of secession, Anglophone crisis, and we've seen social tensions in Saint-Malima and a host of others. Is this also because opportunity is not given for conflict experts, crisis experts, to handle most of the crisis? Because we presume that because you are STO, because you are governor, you must know how to resolve crisis. Almost the same persons are doing everything, when we have people in the country who are experts in this domain who are supposed to be leading this process.
Sure, Mr. Liu, that's one of the aspects. The issue is, at one time when crisis in Cameroon were escalating, the Minister of Scientific Research, who should be in charge of everything, I want to be sure that one time there's a statement she made.
They're talking about COVID-19.
Yeah, COVID-19. I showed Suri like that, and it was all over. The issue in Cameroon is the fact that, I will not say people are incompetent. People are given positions to satisfy political aspirations. Mr. Kum Leonard had done this when I needed this. Today that I am this, I think I should give him something. That is the first aspect. So you have persons who are taking positions not on meritocracy. You have people who are just there. And secondly, Cameroon is one of those countries that, irrespective of how good the law is, they'll always tell you. Look, take a case. Let's look at the northwest and the southwest region, for instance, that have been given a special status. All true. The law says it, the articles are clear, that anything you're doing, the SDO, the GO, and the governors are there to supervise. It means that they tell you, for instance, the public independent conciliator is there to act as the middleman between you, Prince, and the council, to ensure that you are not minimized, to ensure that your rights, your freedom, everything is okay. At the same time, they tell you under the supervision of the representative of the head of state in that region. It means that he is limited. He doesn't have the powers. So the issue is very simple, Mr. Liu, is the fact that very few persons keep doing the same thing. In Cameroon, once you're a minister, ministers don't go on retirement in Cameroon. If someday they do a cabinet shake-up and you're a minister, in the next turn, they either bring you back, or in the days ahead, they create a commission and they bring you back. That's how Cameroon is. And people are giving appointments based on their relationships with those who are governing. Take a very simple example. You go to Northwest and Southwest, for instance, they need 20 chiefs each to form the House of Chiefs. The question you ask yourself, what criterion will be used to choose? Take just Mezam. How many chiefs are in Mezam? There are just so many. You go to the Southwest, take Fako, for instance. How many chiefs are in Fako? There are just so many. So at times you now need political godfatherism. So much such as somebody keeps you somewhere. And like Apostle said, you can never buy the finger that fits you. So we have very competent persons who want to take decisions, but at times their hands are tied. I'll give you a very simple example. There was a time that we had problems about authors' right in Cameroon, the musical department. I remember the then Prime Minister, Philip Mouyan, came in and said, okay, this nonsense has to stop. And there was something to close it. The then Minister of Arts and Culture, Ahmad Tutumona, contradicted that same decision. So it's an issue of, because somebody knows that I am stronger, has more connection, you have people bypassing power. So it's not an issue of actually competence. It's just an issue of who knows who. People do things because they want political favor. A majority of them, Mr. Liu, Cameroon is one of those countries that it will be difficult to show a minister who does not have a PhD. And the majority of them have PhD from high-sounding schools, very big schools that are renowned. So it means it's not an issue of not knowing, it's an issue of, that is it. It's an issue of, let me satisfy somebody, someone social in the days ahead. It should not be said that. And once they are there, they struggle to see that their cousins, their brothers, and their relations keep coming into the game, and a majority of them may not be as competent as it deserves.
Okay. Is there also every reason for the nation to reconcile with the diaspora, especially many of them who want this dual nationality? Many of them have taken up foreign nationalities and really would love to benefit from everything that is Cameroonian.
Yes, it is not a problem. It is time for the state to reconcile with diaspora, because when you see deeply, you realize that there are even authorities that have foreign, I might not call one, you can have authorities who have foreign nationalities. And then I want to see things in another way. You notice that when election is organized in Cameroon, the Cameroonians vote, even those who are in the diaspora. You see, if they can vote, if they can be in the diaspora and then they play politics at home, then I don't see any reason why they should be refused dual nationality.
Okay, you think that they need dual nationality? The diaspora is very pivotal. We see the anger with which they are acting at times, especially towards the government, because they are not happy with the way they are treated. But let's even go to the Anglophone crisis. You think that general amnesty should be granted to everybody that is involved with what is happening?
Yes, Mr. Liu, I think to be very sincere, most of Africans' best is in the diaspora. I must be sincere. Every time an intelligent child grows in Africa, they start envisaging send that child to Europe. Even the government itself, on many occasions, take the best from Africa and send abroad for scholarship. Is to tell you that the best of Africa is out of the country. Now, if our best have gone out of the country and somehow by virtue of desperation, they sign into another nationality, I think we're not going to be looking at the nationality, we're going to be looking at the content. I saw a particular post circulating on Facebook recently by Kylian Mbappé, who said that he is a French citizen, not a Cameroonian, and that he came to Cameroon because the father had no money to play in the national team. I don't know how authentic the
Africa Foot refused him when he needed to play. It's now his big daddy.
Now the best, he has gone to France. Now he has accepted nationality because of desperation, not because he actually denied being a Cameroonian. Now people also, out of document issues, out of frustration, some get married there. It's our best. I can tell you how many Cameroonians, the best neurosurgeon in America is a Nigerian. Most of the best doctors in America, they are Nigerians from the Yoruba and Igbo descent. That is to let you understand that the best in Africa has been taken over to Europe. And one of the things we've realized that when the Europeans realize you are intelligent, the first thing they do is naturalize you. And once you naturalize it, sometimes that affiliation, that feeling of nostalgia, that brings somebody back home. No matter how you stay out of the country, your roots will always be calling for you one day. And you know that most Africans that travel to Europe do not actually want to settle in Europe, because why? They've grown all their lives in Africa, the climatic condition, the kind of meals and different diets that they have been used to, and there's a culture that they grew under. Even if they struggle to become something, they are only thinking it. They are thinking an image that they are not. Once they achieve what they want to, they want to come back home. Now, if somebody was forced to take a nationality because he wants to survive, and then two things we are losing here. We are losing the best, and we're also losing the income. I was told that all Malians who are out of the country, every kobo they work in other countries, they forward it back to Mali. In other country. Now, if we deny them nationality, most of them will invest over there. Their talent will remain there. Their skills will remain there. We are losing finances. We are losing infrastructural development. We are equally losing the talent of people who can come back in this country based on their IQ and intelligence to develop the country. I think the dual nationality is something very important. When Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo came to Ghana, he did return to Ghana. Return to Ghana is a project whereby all Ghanaians who are the diaspora should come back home with what they have learned to develop Ghana. And that's the reason why you see some years back we used to have Ghanaians in Cameroon here who were carrying sewing machines on their heads, sewing dresses. They
were described as Ghana must go.
Ghana must go is the back. And then suddenly they disappear out of the sea. You don't see them anymore, because why? They have gone back to develop their country. Nobody can develop his country more than the indigenous of that country. So I think the idea of dual nationality should be given a chance, because why? We need our people back in the country. A person like Dr. Fobin, one time I heard him on CRTV saying that he's an American. That's a man that discovered the cure to obesity in America, using the strategy of cutting down the intestines of individuals, reducing their intake of food, thereby reducing the content of adipose tissues on their body, cutting down fat. That is a very talented individual that we have lost because we cannot accept dual nationality. But it will shock you that all our ministers in this country have French passport. What are they doing? Smokescreen denial of dual nationality. We have people whose children are Francais. They are in this country. Now, are they trying to tell us that the law is telling us that we should not have dual nationality, but they are permitted to have it? That's the issue. I think we should come to a place whereby some things need to be restructured, because we are losing the best out of this country.
What is the fear in accepting dual nationality? Are we not going to benefit more? Or there is the fear that some persons will get so rich out there and then come and overpower the system?
That should be the more reason why they have to allow.
The fear for dual nationality is as a result of complex. Because since as those who have been placed there are operating in a Jacobean system, they understand very well that the Machiavellian system cannot offer what we call efficiency. And because those who have been living abroad have more ideas on how a government is supposed to run, if they have to come back, the fear is that with the dual nationality accepting them to be here and partake in another thing, they can easily intoxicate the minds of those who are back home and enlighten them in a manner that the people back home can become enlightened, and thereby start protesting against those who have taken this country hostage. Yaoundé, that's the truth. You know what I'm talking about. That's the simple truth. So when you are a leader that you are not sure of yourself, they will always be complex if a third or a fourth party wants to come in to work with you. And because of that complexity, you will be forced to put in place measures that will not allow them have complete access to their country or to the community as they are supposed to have. So that's why most of the people who have dual nationality now, they consider Cameroon as a passive nation. They can only come there to greet aunties and uncles. They stay for 2 or 3 or 4 days or 1 week, and they go back. So Cameroon becomes a touristic site for them, and not a country where they could come and sit and find out, but why is it like this? Why is it like that? So the issue of complex. That's why I said that the moment power changes hands from Yaoundé, dual nationality comes in, Mr. Leo, the development you will see. Because if you go even in Ghana, take only Kumasi itself and Accra, you realize that 1/3 of the development in there is done by those in the diaspora. 1/3 of the development in Accra and Kumasi is done by those in the diaspora. What do? We experience that thing here sometimes every December, whereby that's when you see bushfires coming in to supervise the construction of their houses and all the like. Now, here is a little bit minimal. If you go to Kumasi and Ghana, whereby they know they're part and parcel of their country, they come there with containers for investment. So that's why you see that most of them there, they carry out little investments out there, and they see Europe, even if they have dual nationality, as a place to gather the money and come back home. But look at where we are in Cameroon. That most, because of this issue of dual nationality, many Cameroonians, like the best medical doctors in America, have considered their permanent homes in America.
Yeah, of course.
Some of them, even their corpses, will not see it here any longer. So, because of that scenario, they are clearly cutting the link from Cameroon. And that's how they cut the link and going.
Let me add to what Mr. Fai is saying.
Yeah.
Recently, a Nigerian doctor who was trained in America returned to Nigeria, established a clinic, and found a cure against liver cancer.
You can
in Nigeria.
In Nigeria. So those are things that we are losing
Nigeria.
day in, day out. So I tell you that the Yaoundé Jacobini system has put us under hostage for long.
Okay.
The moment Yaoundé leaves, we open these corridors. Mr. Leo, the developments you get within 2-3 years, you curse all those who have been holding this corridor for 38 years without me telling you.
Mr. Leo and panelists, Mary, I associate my view point to that of Apostle Ngwa, that we actually have wicked leaders in this country in such a way that bags of colossal sums of money were seen burnt somewhere in Yaoundé, and still did nothing is done. Tina is watching from Tico. Happy New Year to you, Tina. This one says, I'm precious from Tombel. Mr. Bia's government has failed, so there can be no reconciliation and forgiveness. For instance, the way the government first fierce protest, whereas protest is what made Cameroon today. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Napoleon from Yaoundé. I want to appreciate my colleagues in the studio. They should be careful, because in this country, if you speak the truth, you will be condemned it prison. So they should be careful. Okay, thank you very much, Napoleon. But if everybody is quiet, nobody will talk now. Napoleon. so the risk of. My dear pastor, I'm so happy with your talks, Pastor Ambe. You are an eye-opener in Cameroon. I love the way you talk to the Cameroonians. If only they will listen to you. Maros, special good, special greetings to you, and I will say happy New Year in advance to you. We pray that God also bless you, Maros. From Kumba. Good evening, Mr. Leo. The panel of today is the best. You used to bring fellows who talk for the whole day talking nothing. John Paul is writing from Bamenda. John Paul, Happy New Year to you. I hope you come one day and talk sense. Good day, Mr. Leo. I'm new here. Hope I'm welcome. Good evening. The man just spoken now has made me cry. Just see the new bill bridge in Douala. No light. Where are they driving us? Sorry. Jeanette Killigan is writing from Bafusam. Good evening to you, Jeanette. Monzi writing from Limbe says, good evening to all. I would like to say kudos to Apostle Ambe. Brother, I wonder where this greed is coming from. Truly speaking, I wish I had a gun to fight Amondi. No, a gun is only used to kill. Don't wish to have a gun. Cameroon is one, but we need justice and reconciliation in 2010. When I see an army, I feel secured, but not today. Why? That's the biggest truth. Apostle Ambe. I'm Stanley, writing from Yaoundé. There is also need to release a political prisoners now, so that we can forget and then come together and chat a way forward.
Mr. Leo, this is something that many Cameroonians said. Proud to the 30th of September 2019 to the 5th of October 2019 that the major national dialogue took place. It is true that after that some persons were released, 333 number, but we want to feel that Cameroonians had certain names, certain faces they wanted to see, and those names and faces are the persons that at the beginning of the crisis, they were very instrumental. We're talking about people like Mancho BBC, the Sisi Kwayuktabe, and a host of others. So I think that, I said before now that when a year comes to an end, like tomorrow, that's why in most churches, there is what they call crossover night. It means that it's a moment for you to think about what you've done all through the year, and you struggle to say, okay, these are the errors I made all through this year, and I'm entering a new year with a lot of aspirations with a lot of hope. So there will be no, it's going to be a moral booster for the president to release political prisoners. And secondly, Mr. Leo, there is something I said before now, and I said that tomorrow, the 31st of December, is a day that the president of Cameroon can rewrite the history of the country. Why? Because just what he's going to tell Cameroonians tomorrow, especially those who want the crisis to come to an end. There's a lot of expectation, there are a lot of speculations, but if I wait to say something, because I'm very sure that somebody is listening, and Yaoundé should also hear, and that somebody linked to the president should be hearing, is that the Anglophone crisis should be primordial on his speech. If there is something he has to say, it is something that will not provoke more tempers. It should be something that should rather calm Cameroonians. And, like you said, reconciliation can be done by releasing somebody. You don't reconcile with who you don't say. You reconcile with somebody you have offended. My brothers, we are all one. We are all a family. I've forgiven all of you. Come out. Let us sit down and see how we can shape the future of Cameroon. Because the future of the country cannot be shaped by one man. It doesn't take one man to tie a bundle. I watched a small anecdote, Mr. Leo. You will not. I saw a father who called the whole family together when he was about to give up the ghost. He brought a broom, gave each of the children and said, okay, you struggle to break it. None of them could. The reason is he removed just one and gave them, and everybody could do it. If we come together as a family, if we come together as one man, it's going to build a stronger Cameroon, and it's going to make Cameroon maybe achieve the vision 2035 that the president is talking about, maybe just in 2022. We are not far from that. We're just 24 hours with that.
Okay, we are not far from that. Is it not also very important to giving powers to the people in real terms? I'm talking about autonomy. That is what has been the cry of the people over the years. Let them feel like managing their affairs. Now, regional elections have been conducted already. The regional executives have been done, but is the problem not more about the will to want to give power for people to decide on their destinies?
That's exactly what should be done. That's exactly why the president should understand that the president has been taking certain decisions. That's why you can see somebody who is not a Cameroonian can even come and ask you a question and say that you people requested for many things and they were giving. You said that government this city government delegates should be cancelled. They cancelled it. You wanted this, they gave you. Why now are you? Why do you continue eradicating? It is because the questions are answered in a way that is not satisfactory to the people. And one of the ways is what you are just saying here. The full autonomy should be given to the people. I think that when it starts from there, this is a new year. When it starts from there, and then it has to be accompanied by forgiveness that you just mentioned here. Forgiveness also should come from. It's a responsibility of everybody. I think that it is time our behavior can make tension to go down before coming together, like Prince just said. What do I mean? I mean that our public statements should be soft, polite. I want to quote examples of, there are some people that I took note of them, like the Prime Minister, the present Prime Minister. When you see anytime he comes to the public, it is difficult to hear him use raw words, like terrorists, dogs, and other word where those people, he has been using the word forgiveness. And the predecessor of the Prime Minister, I mean the former Prime Minister, Philip Moulian, I've also noticed that when it comes to the public, it is difficult to hear him use raw words. I want to reflect again behind. When the crisis started in 2016, around 2017, I followed up with the governor of the Northwest region. There is something I noticed behind that. It is difficult to see a town that is having a crisis where there is violence. They don't want to see elite, but they allow the authority of the town to separate. I want to tell you that when the Minister of the Administration was attacked in Bamenda, the governor was circulating in the town. People had a mind when they saw, they say it is a governor. There's something because of the way he talked, his public statement. So I want us to learn it. Let us use it as a lesson, apply it, because applying it, it will bring down tension before maybe dialogue will take place. And I will end by warning that we should not allow things to go to an extent where it will be difficult to control. Because I noticed something in Lusalio. I didn't tell you that I traveled to the village and I was picked out of the car by the Amber boys. I realized something there on the both sides. When we passed through a military base, when the military came out, if we didn't know that this is a military base, when you see the military, you would think that they were Amber boys. I saw guys with beards already have grown, their hairs very scattered, and they don't more wear uniform. That is to say that even the military, both sides, everybody is tired. And when the military is tired, they can tend to commit a crime in order to tarnish the image of the state. And then on the other side of the Amber, when I try to speak with some of them, even though all of us will know that when you are talking with those guys, they like somebody who listens much than speaking. So they themselves sound like already becoming tired. So that's why I'm saying that when they begin to feel like this, when we come out, like those people who have the opportunity to talk to the public, maybe through cameras like this, when we use provocative statements again, it is how can I say, it may cause, yes, it causes vandalism. So let us begin reconciliation from ourselves. It is a responsibility of everybody. But I call on the authorities, because most of them have been coming out at any time that anything happens, they have been coming out to make public statements. Okay. We should be polite in our statements.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. It's Michelson from Yaoundé. Okay, thank you, Michelson. Important notice. Okay. Let me take some few messages from the fan club page. We equally say thank you. Say a big thank you, Mr. Kumliu, for all the inspirational work that you have been doing. We say keep it up. Be steadfast, immovable, always abounding. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to all in the house. Mr. Liu, thanks for your programs. It's really educating young Cameroonians. Thank you very much for those contributions. Tabot Machiavelli, greetings to everyone watching Prime R at this very moment. Irrespective of the decision to curtail the age limit for retirement in Cameroon, will implies that only the younger generation will be succeeding in concourse, no matter if they are intelligent or not. Those born in 2005 having A levels would succeed. Again, those born around 1992 sitting for the same concours. The order of the day will mean bribery and corruption and even killings. Okay, Tabot Machiavelli is writing from Yaoundé. We are going to end this show at this juncture. Tomorrow we are going to gather here again to analyze the speech of the President of the Republic. If you have expectations, go to our Facebook page, My Media Prime Facebook page, and drop your expectation there so that we can discuss on your expectations before the speech and after the speech. We hope that you are going to trust My Media Prime to follow the address of the head of state and to follow the analysis that we are going to be bringing to you live from our studios out here at Fangoudron Bangue in Douala. I want to say thank you, Apostle, for coming.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Liu. Thank you, Cameroonians. It's a joy and a privilege to be here, and we're very grateful that we're able to contribute our own quota of information to Cameroonians. God bless you, and Happy New Year in advance. Inviting all of you to our church auditorium on the 31st of December as we prepare to cross over for the new year at Bonaberry and Saint Route. Okay, precisely where? The Free Gas petrol station, just some 200 meter walks from the road. 200 meters walk from the road, sorry.
Not far from Deka Hotel or Dubai?
Yes, Dubai, not far from Dubai.
Okay.
Yes, opposite the road. You just call this number 670-749844. We'll pick you wherever you are and then make sure you bask in the glory of God.
Maybe those who've never seen you and want to see you. I was in Bamenda, so many people want to see you.
Okay. Fire Elvis time. There's also crossover in your church?
Oh, yes, obviously. And, tomorrow we still be expecting, like what Prince said, he's expecting some things good from the speech of the head of state. I don't know if he's a Cameroonian or not, but we understand how those speeches always move. But then we have a crossover night suddenly at Kingship Ministry International. Of course, we understand that, with Prophetess Afanui, fully in control, shortly after the demise of our man of God. Many people think the ministry had gone to slumber, but I think it's working stronger than before. And so we're going to experience extraordinary grace. I repeat, extraordinary grace that will be moving in an extraordinary manner and speed tomorrow in the evening, crossing over to the 1st of January 2021. So why not join us all at Kingship Ministry International, and you encounter God one-on-one.
I did not know that you were a man of God too.
Oh yeah, I am a consecrated man of God.
The apostle.
It's in all aspects.
Okay, thank you for coming.
Yeah, Mr. Leo, thank you very much for having me on this platform. Tomorrow I'll be emceeing a football match at Compania, that is somewhere around Susa, where you have very strong fans. Remember, I told you that. I don't know if Mr. Leo have time, so we could go and come back because we'll be earlier. So listen to the president's speech, if not, analyze it too. That is why I want to send special good evening to Mr. Bathe and to his elder brother, Mr. Ngong Levis Kache, the proprietor of Crystal VIP here in Douala, that you're invited this evening after the program. He's the one organizing the finals tomorrow that will be held in Compania, 4th edition. It is going to be played, that is the Veteran FC versus the Jeunes Sportif. You'll be in Compania. You're highly invited, Mr. Leo. I think that the fan club that has been waiting for you will want to see you there. You're invited tomorrow. No,
Thank you for coming back.
After the president's speech, we'll also be at a crossover. No, the match is played in the afternoon. We're going to finish.
Thank you for coming. Yeah.
Yes, I will join the others to call on the Almighty to give more strength to our men of God who are going to pray tomorrow to cleanse the country. And I'll also continue to say, Mr. President, tomorrow you are going to talk to us. If somebody has been sick and you apply drugs for a long time, the illness is not getting to the end, please change the drugs. I think that it is time you know that the solutions that you have been bringing to the countries are not working. Some are working, but they are not really effective.
Okay. Thank you.
I also send greetings to the Mugamo community who are very interested in my media prime, especially the Mboko. I think you even have one time you'll be having a fan club.
Where?
Happy New Year.
Where?
No, that's it.
Okay, we want to say happy New Year in advance to everybody who is watching, and we say thank you for watching the program, especially to you, Eli, who has been producing the program, and Desmond, who is there, Bertrand and Noel at the broadcasting. We say special thank you to you, Tabi Tambe Bryant, who is supervising our work out here. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.